I gotta tell you, man, this whole food shortage, economic crisis that's in Venezuela right now, I can't leave it alone. I gotta do another video on this. And I think of how much food people like Pastor Dowell and them grow up in Tennessee on his own acreage. Manual labor, planting, taking care of their crops. They've got greenhouses, they've got outdoor areas. They're already living that way. They're already doing it. So that's no shocker to them. But you take someone like you, most of you and myself, who aren't doing that, and then all of a sudden, bang, economic problem, food problem, shortages, and now you have to, in a hurry, go out there and try to do this. You have a stamp that says miserable failure on your forehead. Most of us. I've actually had quite a bit of practice. I've done hydroponic gardening. Did it quite well, actually. The only problem with Florida is that for almost half the year, it's so hot, you can't hardly grow anything. Most vegetables are out of the question. Most fruits are out of the question. And you pretty much have like spring. Matter of fact, this winter probably could have got away with growing in the winter. And then spring and then potentially fall time. But that's hit or miss sometimes. But for the most part, it seems like half the year is just too hot. So, got a couple of bonus videos I'm going to play you within this video. Some I think you could just appreciate. But first, I want to start with an article I want to read once again about Venezuela, their food shortages, how some people are doing exactly what the government said. Why don't you start growing your own food no matter where you live? Help the situation out. Instead of standing there with your hand out, you owe me this, government, help me, it's mine, you owe it to me. Now, granted, most governments end up ruining it for all their citizens. But do you want to be standing there, give me, in these lines, especially when I'm about to show you? Or do you want to say, I've got a food storage, or I've got this, I've got something in place to where you don't have to deal with this? And first, give me 1 second because I want to add, matter of fact, let me add it here. I want to start off, but I need to add this file. I need to add this picture real quick. Give me 1 second. This one. You remember this one from the other day. Just put that there. I'm going to hide it for the time being. Or maybe I can make it my background image. Maybe I can go pretend to stand in line with those people. No. So, first let me just read this story. Facing severe food shortages, Venezuela pushes urban gardens. Again, I know I just covered most of this, but there's a new video that has emerged. You're going to see exactly what it's like. Remember that mile-long line or however multi-kilometer line outside, winding roads, people outside trying to get to the food center? And then I said, can you imagine what it's like once you're in the food center? Do they have stuff? Are they running out of stuff? Did you just wait in line for 5 or 6 hours to find out they're all done? I just found a video that shows exactly what it's like inside there. And this is going to be reminiscent of something that happens in America once per year, especially in recent times. And for all the wrong reasons. But let me read this story first. Hang on 1 second. So let me go ahead and read this article. Last week, opposition lawmakers in Venezuela declared a food emergency. That's because Venezuela is facing widespread shortages of milk, meat, bread, and other staples. Critics blame the government's socialist economic policies and the fact that the United States has crushed oil prices through the COMEX market, causing this problem as well. Not just because socialist policies, but socialist policies never win anyways. But instead of changing course, President Nicolas Maduro is calling on Venezuelans to help feed themselves by starting urban gardens. Josefina Requena is among those who have heeded Maduro's call. Cucumbers, green pepper, passion fruit, and other produce grow in the front yard of her home in a slum in Caracas, the Venezuelan capital. She also has a chicken coop. Excuse me. I'm about to say, what is she growing right there, man? It's looking kind of like... you sure that's all tomatoes I'm looking at right here? Because I'm looking at some marijuana-looking leaves. What do you got? What are you growing there, Miss Requena? Just kidding. Although I did have to take a second glance. Josefina Requena. Well, on a sweltering afternoon recently, she says, this person doing this interview, I guess, or writing this article, I joined Requena and some other Caracas residents on a hike into the mountains that rise above the city. They were on a mission to find dirt for their gardens, which they keep on balconies, rooftops, and small plots of their homes. After digging up the fresh earth, they lugged it back down the mountain. You and I'm going to go over to Lowe's or the Home Depot, go get some gardening soil. And I will have to raise my hand and ask a question. What's in that gardening soil? Are you getting the organic stuff, or are you getting the stuff Miracle Grow with all the chemical fertilizers and crap in it? They, who live in the slums, right? Poor part of society, climbing up the mountain, taking what's right out of the earth. Us, supposedly educated and up and coming in the society of these days, I'm going to go down to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy some what looks like gardening soil, but contains a bunch of chemicals and crap in it. Right. Quote, all my life I've loved to plant all sorts of plants, she tells me in Spanish. But over the past 2 years, things have become much more difficult, so I'm taking gardening a little more seriously. And so is the Venezuelan government. President Maduro is urging people to grow food and raise chickens in their homes, even though 83% of Venezuelans live in the cities. Isn't that the case pretty much everywhere? Especially the coastal areas of countries like the United States is where most of the populations are. That's just the coastal regions. There's still big cities, not necessarily in the coastal regions. There's going to be a whole lot of people doing the little hydroponic thing, I think, when the day comes. Or they're going to be standing in line for days saying, I'm too good for that. Where's my food? You owe me. Handouts. Just like the one state I keep referring to, I think it's Michigan again. Just come in and work for 6 hours all week, and you'll get your EBT card, your payment. 12,000 something people before. On the first of the month, this plan goes into effect. You're going to be put to work a tiny bit to get that food and grocery money. 2,000 something people show up. 12,000 before, 2,000 something afterwards. Those are going to be those people in these lines. Make sure you're not one of them. What does she say? Celia and I have 60 laying hens, Maduro said in a speech. We produce everything we eat. So that's what the president says, huh? And Perez says there is nothing. Just like there's no food, there are no seeds, no herbicides, and no medicines to vaccinate farm animals, says Perez. Perez? Why do you need to vaccinate farm animals? You've been brainwashed by Monsanto and Club? I think so. At least 1 in 10 people is eating 2 meals a day or less. There isn't starvation. We're not talking about famine. Whoever Gunson is, part of the International Crisis Group. But we are talking about malnutrition, particularly in the case of children. I'll tell you what, Catholic Church, Pope, Donald Trump is not a Christian if he wants to put up walls everywhere. Pope, you got some massive walls at Vatican City, let me tell you. These ain't just walls. These are massive concrete stone walls. And by the way, preaching for the whole world to take in the refugees, the poor refugees. How many did you take in, Pope? Vatican City, it's its own city. You could have taken 1 or 2. Maybe you can train him to be a pedophile priest. I don't know. 0. That's how much. 0. So why doesn't the Catholic Church, who's the richest church on the face of the earth, throw some of these children, starving children across the world, and now add Venezuelan children to that? Pope, why aren't you sending a tiny bit of your spoils of wars over the centuries in the current, every week, every month, every year, massive amount of money you're taking in from all your subsidiary Catholic churches across the globe in wipe out starvation once and for all? Had to get on that. Sorry about your luck if you just got offended by my pure, 100% truthful religious rant. But you said pedophile. Yes, I did say pedophile. How many Catholic Church priests are nailed over and over and over again? How many times does that story come up? Pedophiles. It's the truth. It hurts, but it's the truth. That's why JSNP4 and family don't belong to any church. And we actually don't belong to any religion. We went to church when we were kids, my wife and I don't mean at the same time, but she went to church. I went to church. My mom forced us in a Catholic church, and right? We're technically raised as Christians. That's just how we were raised. But after studying things like this and seeing the famine across the world and how, I'm going to say it, God doesn't seem to care. It's hard for me to join a religion and say, I'm all in it and I'm all for it and I'm giving you my money every week or month or whatever, and you're not doing anything with it to help the people who really need help. Now, there are some churches, I know this for a fact, that do in fact have little homeless things set up and food banks and things like that. I'm well aware of that, and I give them a nice little JSNP4 fist pump. But strangely enough, most of these churches, I'm talking about from my area, they're not Catholic churches. Strange as that is, I'm just saying, they're not. But back to the video, because I don't want to crap on anyone's political views or religious views, truth be damned. Let's take a look at what it looks like. Remember, let's take a look at this the other day. Remember that one? That is one hell of a line to get into that store. Now, if you don't mind, let's take a look at what happens when you're in that store. And I think I'll mute my mic for this one. Do you want to deal with that? Does that look fun? Can't happen here. I bet the Venezuelans thought the same thing. I showed you the chart the other day. Their dollar was the same as our dollar, 1-to-1 for a long time. Then it was 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 6-to-1. And now they're trying to push it. And in some exchanges, it's actually 10-to-1. I gave you the price of gold, $1,225 here, $12,250 over there. Silver, $15 and change here, $150 and change over there. 1 ounce of silver. And when it gets to that level that I just showed you, people's minds aren't on what's the price of silver or gold today. Now, those people who have silver or gold, their mind says, oh, what can I sell this for today? Ooh, hold this one gold coin, I got 12,000 Venezuelan dollars. I'll buy some of the food off of these people coming out. Some of the people who grab 2 bags. Hey, mira aquí, mira. I'll give you whatever, a few dollars for that bag of rice. It means nothing to me. I've got $12,000 to spend. Now I'm going to show you that this is already happening in America in a kind of ironic way, in an extremely sad way. And it's going to be far worse than what you just saw when it really happens, which I can't show you a video of that yet because it hasn't really happened yet. But when it does happen, what you saw in Venezuela might be child's play. Because let me tell you and show you the mindset of people in America over stuff that you might think they're fighting each other over food and beans, and just like Venezuela. Oh no. Xboxes, TVs. Here we go. Remember this? Remember this one?
Fuck you! I'll be outside, man.
I really need to be breaking it up.
Ready? Yeah.
I think we've seen enough. That video is a little bit longer. The people in this country, the damn sheep, is who I'm talking about. I got a sneaky suspicion are going to be in a world of trouble and a world of hurt when this crap starts coming here with food problems and hyperinflation kicking in. You know, you may think the government in this country has never set any kind of price controls. You know, like they do in Venezuela. We're going to set price controls. Watch this. Google history of price controls in the U.S. Oh, price controls, United States history. First choice. Thanks, Google. Sure, my mic's on. It is on. Following the bombing of Pearl Harbor in 1941 and with the onset of World War II, the federal government set out to impose new or expanded controls over the country's economy. On January 6, 1942, President Franklin D. Roosevelt announced some ambitious production goals to support the war. As a result, all the country's economic sectors were then under increased government control. All sectors, for the most part. While economists usually oppose price controls, it was a state of emergency, so we had to do it. The Emergency Stabilization Act, which passed in October of 1942, which placed wages and agricultural prices under control. Oh, so they had people earning a certain salary by force. And you know that salary was crap, not high. Along with the agriculture prices. Food prices, you're screwed. Those of you working, you're also screwed. Price controls. Man, oh man, wouldn't it have been great to have some gold or silver back then? That's right. They banned it, made it illegal to own, paid everybody $20 an ounce, turn it in, be a patriot, turn in your gold. Some sheeple did. Matter of fact, I might even venture in more than some, but probably quite a few sheeple turned it in. And then as soon as they got what they felt comfortable with, okay, we got what we feel good with, the new price of gold is $35. So it almost went up 100% of what it was, right? $20, 100% higher would be $40. It was $35, so it was 75% or so, whatever. Just because of that, they said so. Wouldn't you have liked to have had your gold still stashed in 1942? Price controls, who cares? My gold's up twice as much. Once again, precious metals to the rescue. I saw a chart the other day that actually, I'm trying to find, there were several, like in, I think 1968, I think something to do with the Vietnam War, you know, was escalating. There was something then. U.S., or maybe is this it? Nixon, Secretary of Treasury, enacting Nixon's new economic policy, lifted price controls that had begun in 1971, part of the Nixon shock. This lifting of price controls resulted in a rapid increase in prices. Price freezes were reestablished 5 months later. Stagflation was eventually ended in the U.S. when the Federal Reserve under Chairman Paul Volcker raised interest rates to unusually high level, unexpectedly rose rates. This successfully ended high inflation, but caused a recession that ended in the early 1980s. And once again, what did gold do during that period? It freaking exploded to hit all-time records. So I do this video, I show you these people in Venezuela, you see them, and not one of them did you see actually punching and kicking and hitting each other. There was some shoving going on. And it was, throw the beans, bags of beans, throw them, and I want to catch them. And then they saw 2 or 3 bags at once, and you start to hear them like scream, like, over here, hey, over here, you know. And then we go to America. Flat screen, I had that flat screen first, I'll kick your ass. USA, USA. I can't wait. I hate to say this. This is painful, but I have to say it. I can't wait for the days when this crap happens here in this country, because there is an enormous amount of people that need to be shaken awake. Not read something, not hear some bozo like me on Facebook or, hey guys, look at this. Oh, stop being so negative. Good, I'll go to YouTube. That's around the time I get back on Facebook. All my old friends and family, friend request, friend request, friend request, friend request. Hey guys, me again. Did you do anything I said do several years ago? Nope. What? Hey, don't post about those prices today. I don't want to hear it. You're being negative. Don't talk about that. How come you're not talking about how you're going up to take a dump? Or I'm going to go downstairs and take a dump because I've got a bathroom upstairs and downstairs now. We take a dump in the downstairs bathroom. And I'll even note it in Facebook. I'm not just going to take a dump upstairs. I'm going to tell you which bathroom I'm going to. I'm going downstairs to take a dump. Oh, my favorite show's on. I'm watching it right now. No, how about, oh, my favorite food finally came back in after 6 months. I'm going to go stand in line for 6 hours because I want it so bad. Who could have seen this coming? We didn't know. Who couldn't see this coming? It's happening. And this has to come to America. We can't just be immune from everything. What goes around comes around and always comes around harder. That's like the law of the universe, so to speak. And we've been causing all of the problems across the whole damn planet. We are setting the price of oil at $30 and below through the COMEX market on the stock exchange in America, which is crushing the global economy and global export prices that the countries rely on of the world. We are causing that. Don't think for 1 second we'll just be able to maintain all of that. We've caused it, but that's okay because we're controlling it. Nothing lasts forever. Manipulation doesn't last forever. And last but not least, as you can look at history and tell for sure, empires do not last forever. But when the day comes, when there's food shortages and things in America, if there's some around my area, old J Snip 4 is going to be out there videotaping it and coming back in here doing a video and saying, you remember those days when I used to do these videos? I'll talk about Venezuela and some of these other countries. And guys, here it is. Here it is. I can only hope it doesn't happen. But old J Snip 4 does not smoke hopium. Take care.